Yeah. President Kiir meets governors of Upper Nile and Western Bahr el Ghazal states. Ministry of Education forms a committee to assess damages caused on educational facilities in the country. And construction of about $140 million international airport begins in Rumbek. Hello and welcome to South Sudan Television. Wherever you are watching us, we are coming to you live from Juba with the latest news from around the country. My name is Grang John. First, the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, met in Juba with the two governors of Upper Nile and Western Bahr el Ghazal states. Upper Nile State Governor Simon Kurpoch and Rizek Zakaria Hassan of Western Bahr el Ghazal State briefed the President on the general security and economic situation in the regions. Speaking to South Sudan Television after the meeting, Governor Kun said Upper Nile is free of Riek Machar rebels, adding that civilians have started returning to the area.
Thank you very much. My name is Simon Kun, the Governor of Upper Nile. I came here to Juba to brief the President on the security situation. You know that Malakaltan has been attacked twice, and we have been resisting those attacks. And now we are in peace. Citizens are returning to the town, and that's why I came here to brief him on security situation generally in our states, in all the corners of our states, and also how people are actually coming in. This is why I'm here today, and also, you know, coming here to congratulate him for his wisdom, his resilience, and his strength for leading this nation.
سعيد شديد كون يكون في الضيافة بتاعت تلفزيون جنوب السودان من جوان القصر الجمهوري. فيه أنا اجتمعت مع الرئيس، أديت تنوير شامل على الأحوال السياسية في الولاية اللي هو بعد الأحداث اللي تمت في 15 شهر 12 2013. يعني احنا رجعنا للولاية واشتغلنا شغل سياسي مكثف، والغرض منه انه نوعي المواطنين بالاحداث والاسباب بتاعه. وبعد ذلك احنا خشينا المرحله الثانيه اللي هو المرحله بتاعت التعبئه والتجنيد، موبلايزيشن بتاع القوات بالنسبه للسبيلم اللي احنا عملنا لونشنج بتاعت 6000 عسكري.
The ruling party in the country, SPLM, urges South Sudanese to shun ethnicity and embrace unity and peace to help the nation avert the impact of Riek Machar rebellion. The party top leadership made this remark while addressing the SPLM meeting on Thursday. General Kiir, who is the SPLM chairman, reiterates his commitment to resolve the ongoing political stalemate in the country following the failed coup attempt instigated by renegade Riek Machar last year. Jackie Daru has more on the story.
SPLM, the country's ruling party, held a meeting of the National Liberation Council and the two caucuses on Thursday at Freedom Hall in Juba. The meeting was the first of its kind since the crisis drew all the top leadership of the ruling party to discuss issues affecting the country. The party's chairman, who is also the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, while briefing the members, he assured that his government is committed to the implementation of the agreement on the cessation of hostilities signed with the rebels in Addis Ababa.
It was something done in war. All the houses were knocked down. The only good house in Bor, it is destroyed.
The SPLM deputy chairman and the vice president, James Iwani Iga, much admired the President Kiir for reaching an agreement with the former rebel leader, David Yaw. He also commended the party's members for standing firm with the president, urging citizens to be resilient, united together as sons and daughters of one nation.
He stood very strongly behind our elected government under the wise leadership of General Kir Mayardit. Mabruk alaikum ya Jamaa. I would also want to congratulate our President for the recent ceasefire agreement he signed with the group of Yao Yao, and I think millions of congratulations to our President and also Yao Yao.
The chief negotiator, Nial Deng Nial, briefed the party's chairman and the members on peace conciliation between the government and the rebels mediated by IGAD in Addis Ababa. He said a lot has happened that attributed to civil society's protests along the streets in some states in the country, questioning the neutrality and impartiality of the United Nations in the country.
So finally, we carried the day, we managed to convince the mediators to drop the addendum in favor of inserting a small provision in the agreement, which basically says that humanitarian assistance will be rendered by UNIMIS and other international NGOs in accordance with their mandates.
The SPLM Deputy Secretary General, Dr. Ann Ito, said the party has vision towards structuring South Sudan.
SPLM is a political party with a vision, mission, objectives, and programs. We in the Secretariat have the responsibility of recruiting members, training them, developing them into cadres, and members who live up to the values of SPLM and make more members and carry out the work of SPLM.
Dr. Ann said it is thorny to know who is with the party. Besides, loyalty is not written on people's faces. Jackie Darrow, SSTV.
Lake State is set to join the World Airspace by 2015. Construction for Rumbek International Airport is underway, giving hope that South Sudan will have one more international airport to augment the one in the national capital, Juba. Setup Construction and Engineering Company says the airport construction project, estimated to the tune of $137 million, would be completed before the end of this year. As Rejoice Tio Samson report, local authorities are optimistic that the airport would boost aviation industry and economic activities in the country.
It's a new dawn for Lake State and indeed South Sudan in general. An international airport is springing up in the remotest part of South Sudan, giving hope that the new nation may have one more international airport to augment the existing one in the national capital, Juba. Local authorities are optimistic that the expansion of the airport would promote economic activities and boost aviation industry in the country.
أنا شفت رانوي الطريقة العمل ماشي فوق هسه هنا في سالة وشغل ماشي كويس هسه التسوية بتاع المهندس زي شهر 7 ممكن العمل ده حتى لو ما انتهى بمعنى ببدأ العمل البسيط فده زيارة رسمي عشان نجي نشوف سير العمل المطار وانا قاعد اقول لهم انتوا لازم تسرعوا حتى لو احتفال فشل 2014 ممكن اننا بنعمل احتفال 2015 لأن الطائرة المطار ده يا بيستقبل الضيوف اللي بيجي بيشهد الاحتفال فنحن مبسوطين عمل مهندسين قاعدين نشتغل فوقه وانا متاكد هسه في شغل هم ماشيين بو ده بمعنى عمل ده بينتهي في مواعيده.
The construction of Rumbek International and Domestic Airport, estimated at a cost of $137 million, is expected to end this year. According to the CTAP Construction and Engineering Company, the major transport hub would also serve as a key airport for domestic services throughout its 2.4-kilometer runway, which would also accommodate the world's largest aircraft, including the double-decker Airbus A380, with the provision of the future expansion. CTAP engineer says the airport construction include parking bays like multi-story parking yard, check-in counters and retail outlets.
And from today we will sure everything will go smooth and we will complete this airport. Approximately time will be 1 year and 6 months after everything will complete. And from there we ask the governor to support us with all the support we need. We know we have difficulties, but from CTAP Construction Engineering we will do our best to complete this project for Independence Day.
The construction of Rumbek International Airport is part of the government grant initiative to take towns to the people in order to spur economic growth in South Sudan. For SSTV News, I'm Rejoice Teo Sampson.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has formed a committee to assess the damages caused on public universities after Riek Machar rebels ransacked and destroyed public institutions in some parts of the country. The formation of this committee is a key part of the initiative made by the ministry to reopen institutions of higher learning which were shut down after Riek Machar rebellion, which instigated insecurity in the country. As Edward Stephen reports, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology met with the top administrators of the 5 universities.
A 2-day meeting organized by the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has resolved to carry out an urgent nationwide assessment on the impact of the current political crisis on the education sector in the 3 conflict-affected states. The meeting held in Juba was attended by the vice-chancellors from the 5 public universities to map out plans to be implemented in the current academic year. Speaking to South Sudan Television shortly after the meeting, the Minister of Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Jonglei, said the ministry has undertaken steps to make the universities operational.
We have convened a meeting of the vice-chancellors of the 5 public universities and managers of the 3 national project universities to discuss the impact of the crisis that took place on the higher education in South Sudan. The meeting will handle several issues. One of them, what are the impacts of the crisis that took place on 15th of December on universities in terms of the human resources, teachers, students, in terms of physical infrastructure of the universities, in terms of the future of the universities as we plan to open them, how it's going to impact on the population of the university. We all also want to discuss issues pertaining to the calendar. Are we going to unify the calendar or it will be open differently? For example, University of Jonglei Memorial University of Science and Technology has been destroyed in terms of infrastructure. How long will it take us to open it? How much money will it need? All these issues will be discussed, plus the fact that most of the universities, the 5, are national universities. There are students from different regions, different communities. How are we going to handle this when the university opens? How are we going to convince the students to come back to their universities? These are very serious issues, and we are going to spend the next 2 days to discuss them. And we feel that it's the right time for us to begin to think ahead as the country work towards peace and final settlement for the university.
In a separate development, education ministers of the 10 states are gathering in Juba to discuss the challenges facing the education sector in the country. The meeting was opened by the National Minister for Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Jonglei. The meeting dwelt on 3 major points, which include the formation of a committee to assess educational infrastructure, the fate of South Sudan secondary examination to be launched in 2015, among other cross-cutting issues. Speaking to South Sudan Television during the closing session of the meeting, Minister Jonglei said the current political crisis has affected education in many ways, which requires immediate response.
We are going to make assessment on three very important things. One, the impact of the conflict on education in general in South Sudan, in 10 states. We have formed a committee that will take and make that assessment.
For SSTV News in Juba, I am Eddie Stephen.
The government has launched the construction for new custom checkpoint at Joda area in Reng County of Upper Nile State to improve customs service at the entry point between South Sudan and Sudan. Jen Awadia has more on the story.
The government has undertaken major steps to construct customs offices at Joda area of Reng County. The customs offices are vital for the movement of goods and services at the border checkpoint with Sudan. The Deputy Minister of Interior and Wildlife Conservation, Agustino Jadala Wani, accompanied by the Director General of Customs, Major General Mikaya Modi Lubajo, visited Joda, where a piece of land was allocated for the establishment of the customs center. Speaking to SSTV, Jadala said the offices will facilitate easy handling of commercial activities between the two countries.
Immigration. Custom هو مهم خالص للولاية بتاع النيل. يعني لو باب ده هنا فتحناه هيخلي بعض المواد التموينية يعني يخش هنا.
On his part, the Director General of the National Customs Service, Mikaya Modi, said the creation of the customs offices in the area will boost the collection of non-oil revenues in the country.
They have actually cooperated to us in this crucial situation that we are in need of establishing our custom office here.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Reng County, Kur Savia Deng, appealed to the Minister of Interior to increase the number of customs police in the county to provide quality services.
الشؤون الداخلية برضو إنه يزيدوا القوة بتاع الشرطة هنا وقوة بتاع السجون في المقاطعة كله يقوم الوحدات دي لازم تكون قوية ويزيدوا العدد بتاع القوات دي في الحدود هنا.
In a separate development, the Deputy Minister of Interior decried the manner in which the rebels made destruction on private and government institutions in Malakal town. Jadala described the destruction as barbaric and senseless act, adding that the rebels have robbed the locals of their hard-won freedom.
Bitterness of refuge. We test the cup of the refuge, bitterness. Nas naman يكون في refuge, nas يكون في displaced camp. نحن بنعلم الناس عشان يكون كسالة.
Reporting for SSTV News, I'm Jane Awadia.
A new dawn has emerged in the banking sector as Central Equatoria State launched Saving and Credit Cooperative Bank Limited. Joining a list of other financial banking institutions operating in the country, local authorities in Juba describe the launching of the bank as a crucial step to boost economic activities in South Sudan. Registrar Samson has more on the story.
With a total shared capital of $619,000, the Savings and Credit Cooperative is about volumes production and distribution of value-added products for local and foreign markets, hence resulting to financial sustainability and prosperity of all its members. Addressing the opening ceremony, the State Governor Clement Wani Konga said the launch and celebrate work of success is aimed at promoting peace and socio-economic development amongst the local population. Konga urged members of the state government to go down to the grassroots to mobilize the masses for massive agricultural production, including animal production for local and export through cooperatives.
Cooperatives in creating revenues and sustainable, equitable distribution of resources, financial inclusives can never be overestimated. The formation and establishment of Central Equatorial State Savings and Credit Cooperative Limited by our committed pioneering members of the state should therefore serve as a wake-up call to all of you, the state employees and all South Sudanese, that cooperative movement, in particular the SACCOs, will help in addressing the problems of poverty and unemployment.
The chairperson of the Savings and Credit Cooperative Society, Michael Tongun, said the institution will improve the livelihoods of the locals.
The Central Equatorial State Savings and Credit Cooperative institution that will be owned 100% by the Central Equatorians and South Sudanese citizens resident in Juba. It was started by a few of our committed members that I've already enumerated to you towards the end of last year.
The role played by savings and credit cooperatives in microfinancing economic activities cannot be overemphasized. Microcredit programs all over the world have contributed to success in improving livelihood of people through poverty alleviation and wealth creation.
This is the first state-level financial cooperative institution that will be owned by South Sudanese citizens. The institution will operate in the 6 counties of the state.
Well, plans to upgrade Juba International Airport are in advanced stage. The chief administrator in the office of the President, Mayen Ward, visited the airport to assess the progress of work at the site. The runway at Juba International Airport will be extended from 2.5 to 3.1 kilometers. Oyet Patrick has more on the story.
Plans are at an advanced stage to facelift Juba International Airport. The chief administrator in the office of the President, Mayen Wall, who was speaking at Juba International Airport where he had gone for an inspection, says upgrading of the airport will be completed before the country celebrates its 3rd birthday.
The reason why we came here is to make sure that what was planned has been done. The terminal building, which has been there for a long time now without completing it, is starting now. And as the head of performance management, which is instituted in the office of the President, we came here specifically to make sure that our colleagues who are involved, Alikaya and Captain David, I'm with them here and under the supervision of the minister to make sure that what was planned has to be done.
The runway at Juba International Airport will be extended from 2.5 to 3.1 kilometers. Mayen Wall, who is also the head of a committee tasked with assessing performance in the national government, says the office of the President is working to ensure that services are delivered to the people of South Sudan. The Deputy Minister of Transport, Roads and Bridges, Simon Majok, says the company to upgrade the airport, China Harbour Engineering, is set to start the work which was to commence in November last year but could not kick off due to some little technicality.
See the preparation for the extension of the airport from 2.5 to 3.1. So definitely it will affect some of the encroachment on the master plan of the airport. Juba International Airport has been contracted to a Chinese firm.
The minister further said the effects of the 15th December 2013 failed coup attempt also caused delay in commencing the work at the airport. Oyet Patrick, SSTV News.
The subcommittee for the humanitarian affairs in the National Crisis Management Committee delivered food and medical supplies to Wau Military Hospital to improve medical service delivery in the area. The crisis management team appeals for more relief assistance from citizens of goodwill and the humanitarian agencies to support the victims of the failed coup attempt in South Sudan.
Wounded heroes, we
We are delighted to have them today in Wow. They came with food items, different kind of food items, and this one will be very vital for wounded.
I have come with the team in a mission of two issues. One, we brought food again for the wounded and also those who are injured in the struggle. They are all in the two hospitals. As usual, the two hospitals cooperate in handling the injured. Some are there, some here.
So they are remaining with us here. There are around 6 females with various injuries, especially in the orthopedics. The bones are injured in this. Well, they received the initial management, and most of them has gone through the theater. And the National Crisis Committee management sent us a team from the Ministry of Health, the National Ministry of Health, of 2 surgeons and some items of drugs.
The governor of Warrap State, Nyandeng Malek, is in Juba to coordinate the affairs of the state with the national government, mainly the security and political issues in Warrap. Lagos Stephen reports.
It is one of the states that have managed to contain the insecurity that followed the failed coup attempt on 15 December 2013. The governor of Warrap State, Nyandeng Malek, with the state authority, has maintained calm in the state. On Friday, the governor arrived in Juba on a mission to coordinate the state affairs in regards to continuing the work of maintaining security and peace. According to her, the security status of Warrap State remains under control and calm, but at the border areas, there has been attacks waged by some armed group aiming at raiding cattle, and in the event, many have lost their lives, especially in towns north.
شكرا جزيلا. من ناحية بتاع الأمن في ولاية وراب بصفة عامة كويس هادي، لكن هنالك تحديات في الأمن على حدود أو في حدود بتاع ولاية وراب وولاية بتاع الوحدة. الفيو مجموعات مسلح اللي بيقوموا بهجوم على المواطنين في مراهاتهم زي ما حصل في يوم 30 شهر واحد، إنه مجموعة مسلح جاء هاجم على مراهات في مقاطعة التونيا الشمالية وقتل فيه الأبرياء وجرح فيه ناس كتير يعني. فده تحدي بالنسبة من ناحية بتاع الأمن.
The governor has also alerted that food insecurity is breaking out. There is not enough food for the increasing population in Warrap State due to the migrating internally displaced persons, mainly coming to seek peace from the neighboring states of Unity State. Most citizens with low income cannot afford the expensive food prices in the state.
الحاجة الثانية في ولاية بالنسبة للمعاش السلمي بين المواطنين بتاع الولاية وقبائل الأخرى في ولاية وراب بخير وده اللي أدى للقبول الكبير من النازحين من ولاية الوحدة في ولاية الوراب، لأنه الأحداث بتاع الانقلاب الفاشل ما يتأثر في العلاقات العامة بالنسبة للمواطنين، وعشان كده يعني عندهم روح بتاع الاستقبال لأخوانهم النزحوا من ولاية وحدة لولاية وراب. بالنسبة للمعيشة العامة في ولاية هنالك نقص كبير في مواد الغذائية في السوق، وده أدى للأسعار بتاعت مواد الغذائية غالي للمواطن البسيط، فده كل الحالة موجودة في الولاية.
Lagos Stephen, SSTV News.
More than 30,000 internally displaced persons are in dire need of humanitarian assistance in Baliet County of Upper Nile State. Local authorities raised this concern after visiting Akoka County, where residents of Baliet are currently seeking refuge after militants loyal to Riek Machar attacked villages in the area, killing many civilians, destroying property, and left many others homeless. The army has so far restored relative calm in the area, but the internally displaced persons returning back to Baliet lack basic service. The Akwe Paul has more on the story.
The recent attack by Riek Machar militants on villages inside Baliet County of Upper Nile State has so far left 34,000 people homeless, exposed to severe humanitarian situation in the area. Local authorities have raised concern over the condition of the internally displaced persons in Balliet County who fled the area after Riek Machar militants launched a series of attacks against civilians in the region, forcing them to sought refugee in Akoka County.
We are now relocating to Rome, are 34,000, and many of them are still on the way. These 34,000 of this population compose children, women, and elderly. This population have suffered a lot, as Balliet is one of the hard-hit counties by the crisis, in which many of them have died.
County commissioners in Akoka and Balliet appealed to humanitarian agencies to intervene in order to help the displaced persons, assess relief support, and mitigate the crisis.
And this population who have arrived here have been hosted by the population of the Akoka County, and some of the key challenges that they have here include lack of basic human needs. They lack food, also drinking water, clean drinking water, shelter, especially the temporary shelter.
The National Army has restored relative calm in Balliet County, prompting some civilians to return to their homes, but basic service delivery remains a big challenge. The militants have looted and destroyed the area, including the medical facilities, leaving the residents exposed to severe humanitarian situation.
Jimnao lehita de be khusus tamoya wa amni ashanu mon bikun martahin fi melde lakin asobat indum ketir indum mudwakil indum mudwa namamis lanu de tarab albar indum mudwa beta halat lanu naze wadara ajatum navu.
Continuous attack and aggression by Riek Machar rebels against civilians have triggered acute shortage of food and insecurity in some parts of the county, triggering hunger and other humanitarian crises in South Sudan. Local authorities condemned such and accused the rebels for violating cessation of hostilities signed between the government and Machar rebel groups in Addis Ababa. Diakwe Paul Machoe, SSTV News.
Members of SPLM Women League in northern Bahr el Ghazal state called for an end to violence and bloodshed in the country. The women strongly condemn the political stalemate that has so far caused massive destruction to lives and property. Henry Jada reports from Awil.
The Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, Honorable Lile Albino Akol, who is also a member of the Crisis Management Committee, briefed SPLM Women League, an association in northern Bahr el Ghazal state, on the recent political situation in the country following the 15 December failed coup attempt in Juba. The SPLM Women League gathered in the state condemned the political crisis in the country and calling for an end to violence in South Sudan. Lile Akol told SPLM women of Mading Awil that the crisis is not a tribal conflict between Dinga and Nuer, but after the failed coup attempt in the country, Riek Machar sent telephone messages to his ethnic group alleging that it was a tribal violence. Honorable Lile assured the